We're starting off high.
We can get a two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
trust a human to raise back wolves.
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise wolves.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
What's happening?
What up?
You know, another one bites the dust.
And another one.
Another one down.
Oh, man. How's your week been? How's your last 2 weeks been? We took a week off last week.
Oh, yeah, we did the Ohio State game. I forgot about that, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I don't know. They're weeks.
Yeah.
They're weeks. I don't know if they've been anything.
They keep going.
Yeah, that's all it is.
We still here.
Same shit over and over again.
Right. No doubt. But how about them Buckeyes?
I mean, they did their thing. I can't say they didn't.
Handle their business. That scoop and square. Go Bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a hell of a way to end the game.
Oh, man.
That was a hell of a way to end the game. Now they got Notre Dame. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that.
If it were in the regular season, I'd call it a trap game. Because I think Ohio State should beat them and beat them handedly. But Notre Dame has found a way to win, and I can't deny them that. Now, what I will say, going back to the Ohio State-Texas game, not even the scoop and square, the fact that they had, 3 different pass interference penalties down there that restarted, like, the first and goal series. And then that play by the linebackers where they tried to run a toss sweep or a jet sweep, I can't remember what it was, but the tackle for loss, it was over at that point. It was over. Yep. I'm like, that's it. They're not giving this up. Like, Texas had, 8 opportunities from the fucking 1 yard line.
Yeah, damn near.
It was insane. And,
I mean, I don't know if I believe in Notre Dame like that.
I don't know. Like I said, I would say it's a trap game if it weren't for the national title. Because I think Ohio State should beat them, and I think they should beat them handedly. I said it going into the Texas-Ohio State game. I said whoever won that game wins the national title.
And I agree. I just don't like this Ohio State team. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
No doubt.
You don't know what you're going to get. I don't care what nobody says. This is one of the softer teams that I've seen from Ohio State.
That's the game these days, man.
I just don't get it. You get good talent, at certain positions, but then you just get fillers at others, and it's like.
I think what's interesting is that this Ohio State team really is led by the defense. Like, the number of goal line stands that this defense has had is a little outrageous.
Yeah, I mean they proved a little to me.
Yeah.
The defensively.
So
they proved a little to me, but
I've been salty on Ryan Day and his coaching staff, but I also can't deny that they have run through people in the playoffs.
But
And
I don't
yet,
know if I don't know if that gives you credit because over the years that's become a standard
I mean, it has, but it hasn't been a standard for Ohio State for a couple of years.
since day.
Right.
That's why I'm saying now that you're starting to do what you were supposed to do from the beginning, that doesn't really give me cause to not let you go.
I mean, the flip side is you win a national title, it's hard to fire him the same year that you win a national title. I don't care if he
I'm cutthroat.
lost to Michigan 4 years in a row. Like you won a natty, and ultimately that's what they're there for.
I agree, but I'm cutthroat in that regard. And then it seems like this year, I won't say has been a easier year, but the fact that it's the first year of the playoff bracket format, it's been an easy road for you, really.
I mean, it really has, and I honestly think some of like the powerhouse teams in the country had down years.
Right. That's why I'm really
Yeah.
saying it's been an easy road. Like your number one nemesis all year, aside from Michigan, who you lost to, was Oregon.
Right.
Oregon.
Right.
And we supposed to be all up in arms, happy because you struggled with. You shouldn't have been in that position in the first place to get cheated out of your last second on the clock.
Right.
You
Right.
never
I
should have
agree
been
with
in that
that.
position.
I agree with
So
that. But I
it should
also
have never
think
been a revenge game to begin with.
I also think that Ohio State had mirrored the Bills this season in a lot of ways. Like they didn't find their identity until like halfway through the season when Jeremiah Smith really came on and started going against real talent. Like I know he had a couple of great catches in the Oregon game, but then he got shut down. Now, he also didn't have a ton of shit in this Texas game either.
Yeah, no. He's been I mean that but people know that. That's what
Right.
I'm saying. It's not gonna be an easy
But
road for him.
that's also why Igwabuka had what, like 12 catches for 100 some odd yards,
Right.
and half of them on like the first series because they were doubling Jeremiah Smith.
I'm telling you, like the dude's talented, but he's gonna have to go to a team that already has a receiver to be anybody.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the league now is the one guy does not get it done.
Well,
It has
yeah,
to be
I
like
guess.
a wide receiver and a tight end or a split in a slot. Like you've got to have some combo there.
You just gotta have somebody to take the look off of the other, and we
Yeah.
see that, a lot in Philly.
Yeah.
That's why they're always arguing on the bench because one game Devontae gets 8 receptions, AJ only gets 3 targets, and then one game it's like we got AJ 6 receptions, but he's not gonna get that many the following game because everybody's gonna be keying in on you. Nobody's worried about Devontae. Jeremiah Smith is gonna be a rookie that can go to a team like New York, just to throw one out there with Devontae and Garrett, and he's gonna be the one they key in on.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, forget Devontae, forget Garrett, guard Jeremiah like that.
They're past their prime. He's still got
Right,
it.
get
Right.
Jeremiah. That's the guy you cover. He's gonna be a rookie treated like Devontae Adams was 3 years ago.
Right.
You're a rookie that gets doubled every week out. It's not gonna be easy for you ever.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I don't
Unless
disagree
you
with that.
get put on a squad that's overloaded with wide receivers and they're like, it's too many to guard. We can't worry about one. That's the only way. And that very rarely ever happens when you're that good of a talent because you usually go to a team that needs you more than just is happy to have you. Just can add another player on the team.
Yeah. All right. Enough sports talk. You want more sports talk? Check us out on Hit the Showers. Also sponsored by the Foolproof Entertainment Network.
He's stupid. He's stupid.
You know, next year I might have to steal the Hit the Showers banner and do a college football show.
Listen,
Do that.
I
On
don't
like
watch
a-
it. I don't
on
watch
like a
enough.
Sunday.
Like I watch college football, but I don't watch it like I watch NFL.
NFL. No, I get that. And
Like Sunday,
honestly,
I'll watch multiple games. College is usually like I'm only focused on Ohio State and whatever is before, immediately before and
and
after.
after.
I'll watch the last half or the last quarter of, and
See, what I will say is that's one thing that Google TV got me with this year was the multicast and being able to have like 2 to 4 games up on the screen.
mhm.
And then being able to click into whatever was a close game, and that was
Right.
it's I'm not gonna say game changer, but it got me back into being a fan of college football after I took a couple of years where I really didn't watch much because of aforementioned issues with Ryan Day and his staff. So
Man, he's just I don't care nothing about this national championship. If you win it, I still want you out of there.
all right, that's bold statements, Mr. Jennings.
Get him the fuck out of here.
All right. So, you got any inadvertence to get us going?
I had a couple
All right, what you got?
prior to the show. I can't remember them at the moment for some reason.
Who the fuck are you with a stack of books on your desk like you read?
I do read.
I'm so proud of you.
I do read, but that ain't
I'm gonna
that.
take
All
credit
those
for it.
aren't reading books. Some of them are like
Picture books. I know you.
not like brain game books and shit.
Gotcha. Cool.
Uh-huh.
Well, on that note, not an inadvertent thought, but a recent development here at the household. So I started. I saw it on TikTok, and I ended up grabbing it. And it's one of those like back and forth journals with your kid.
It's with your kid. It's not like, Dad, I want to hear your story or whatever.
Well,
that bullshit is.
it's got elements of that, but like it is more back and forth. Like we just did the first entry, and the question for the adult was, what's your favorite memory of me? And then for the kid, it was, what's the best thing that we've done together? And it was cool just to see him like take it seriously, honestly, and write like a good response. Like, yeah, he was, pissy about having to do it because I'm like, bro, you don't get homework yet. You got dad homework, so here you go.
I can't say that I wouldn't look at that as homework.
Right.
I don't feel like doing this shit.
Which is fine, but at the end of the day, it's cool, and I'm excited to see kind of like where it goes, and
Right.
if he treats it the way I hope he does, and it's one of those things that like I wish I had done something like that with my dad. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
No, I get it.
that was a cool little thing we started this week. But
What's the book called? Because I do know the Dad and Mom, I want to hear your story books, but I've never.
I would have to go back and see what the title on the thing is. Honestly, actually, since I purchased it from the TikTok shop, I should be able to find it pretty quickly.
And then doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose?
What do you mean?
Like I feel like the Dad and the Mom, I want to hear your story books are beneficial because the child's not involved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you, when I'm gone, if you're feeling away, can open up this book and get some information out of it that you weren't privy to before. Whereas this book, since y'all are doing it together, it's like it's already done by the time it's over.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're treating it like homework. Like I know chapter by chapter. I remember Dad's response last week, so I don't need to go back to it unless I'm like really feeling down.
well, and what I would say is, to your point, like I think it's something that has more benefit at the end, right? Like we're doing this when he's 9 and I'm 40 or whatever. God
Right.
forbid something happens to me. I mean, my dad passed suddenly at 42. Like,
Right.
so I think that's driving some of the thought behind it. The book is called "Just Between You and Me, Kid,"
Okay.
and so, and to your point, like it does have some of those "What's your story?" elements in some of the prompts. So hopefully, he finds something, he learns something. Like that first one, I agree, but I also think the first one was meant to be, a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but something a little more
So y'all just started
conversational.
it.
Yeah, we just started it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it might be silly at the end, but
I mean, it's not that I think
like
it's
the
silly.
principle of it.
It's just like he's working on it with you along through it through completion. So he's not gonna be shocked by anything he sees in the book at a later date because it's like I did it with you.
Right.
We did it together. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It was like by the time we completed that last page, the project was done with.
Yeah.
The book can now collect dust. But if you did
But
it
that's
by
part-
yourself, it's something you blow dust off of
Right.
and say, what's in here? Oh, is that how dad met mom? Oh, is that how I came about? But you know what I mean?
No, I get it. And I think to your point, like I still think that there's an element of that because who knows what you're going to remember from it until you
I guess what I'm saying is
across
leave
it.
these little bastards out of it. Leave them out of it. They don't need to be involved in everything. Some things should just be a surprise to them.
Oh man, that's like when he was in the NICU and we're like, we're gonna tell him that we rescued him from the Borg in Star Trek.
You hear me?
Because he had all the wires and stuff, and he wasn't done charging yet.
We had to cut a few umbilical cords on you, kid. Some of them were electrical.
Right.
You're a regular old Carnegie Mellon alum like your father.
Oh no, we're furthering that narrative, huh?
Yeah, I'm not. It's never gone anywhere. Okay.
Oh man. All right.
What was my in it bird?
I was about to say, any of them pop back?
It's crazy too because I was just thinking about at least one of them today.
I had a conversation with somebody today online, like random shit. And
somebody you knew or somebody you was arguing with on social media?
Not even arguing. Like it was a little more of like a prompt and response kind of deal. Not Reddit, but
oh, y'all
similar.
was finishing the storybook.
No. But the conversation turned to like video games, and it was the aspect that I don't know what happened, but over the and it kind of goes with your ongoing theme about entertainment media in general, but over the last like 4 to 5 years, like what happened to like the story-driven like narrative? Where's the next Last of Us game?
Right.
Like where's the next, and I'm always a fan of the RPGs, the Fallouts, the Mass Effects, the Skyrims, like Starfield was trash. The latest Dragon Age game was trash from a story perspective.
What was that, Inquisition or whatever?
Veilguard. Inquisition was the last good one.
I just see it on the what's it called on the
oh yeah, because they're pitching it a lot right now because it wasn't well received, and so they're trying to milk it for every dollar out of it. But
I bet
at the end of the day, like that game forgot what made Dragon Age, which was the storytelling, the characters, and like the user choice. I think that's the piece that's bothering me the most is the user's choice aspect. Like everything is just so fucking railroaded, and like games that are supposed to be open world, you make your decision, it influences the story. Like even though like those don't even do that anymore.
My biggest thing with games like Dragon Age is everybody can't be GTA.
Yeah.
You can't wait. You can't put 10 years between your drops and expect that you still have the people's attention when it comes to a game like this. Like, it doesn't take 10 years to fall off of a game. The only reason why GTA sticks around is because it's GTA. It's something bigger than a video game. People have always been, attracted to GTA.
Yeah.
So they can wait 20 years and people are still going to know what to expect when they see that GTA logo. It's not the same with everybody else.
Well, I think that's actually the problem with Dragon Age and Mass Effect. It's not the time between games. It's that they lost the core element of what it was. Like, the whole point of those games is, like, again, the narrative, the story, the player choice throughout the game. And, like, this last one was a fucking hack and slash, honestly.
Was it?
Yeah, like
aren't they all to a point?
I mean,
I understand what you're saying. There's more to it than just that.
It's the priority between the two. So the story used to be the priority in those games, and now it's the combat. Like the combat was just a vehicle to take you through the story in the other games, whereas now the combat is like you're skipping through the story to get to the combat because the story's fucking boring.
Well, I mean, that also comes down to what they've cultivated with the reels culture. People don't want the full story. You can't sum it up in 15 to 30 seconds for me.
Yeah.
So when you have a whole culture of kids that feel like that, you're not going to go over the top to make sure it's intricate and detailed with all of the extra. No, the kids don't want that shit.
See,
they just want the meat and potatoes immediately. Give me what it's about and let's get to it.
I think my argument to that is that that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If that's all you're giving them, how do you know?
Right, I see what you're saying.
Because those old story-driven games were best-selling Game of the Year games.
Right.
And guess what? Veilguard ain't going to be a Game of the Year. Ain't going to win the Goatee.
It's not about what we know, though, if we know it's going to sell.
Yeah.
It's going to sell. It's going to make some money. So we can save that money, said money on the back end, really. And let's not put all that extra shit into it. It's gonna sell regardless. People are just that's what people have understood. Or
my argument on that is you're gonna get the initial sales that you were gonna get anyways. You're not gonna get the longevity sales.
Well, see, that's where we are with consumerism.
Yeah.
The goal is we don't.
It's all short term.
About how if this game stands the test of time, we just make it for you to shit on it.
Right.
You bought it, didn't you?
Right. That's fair.
You told us about the review, what you thought of it, didn't you?
Yeah.
We don't care that you're upset. The money's already in the bank.
Right. No, that's a fair point. And especially with something that's owned by fucking EA.
Yeah, we already got our bread. We don't care what y'all wanted. Well, maybe we'll do that next time if it doesn't cost too much extra.
Well, and the fact
That's
is
where
that
they're
they've
at right
squeezed all the independent and smaller development firms out at this point. They've all been bought out. They've all been either Ubisoft
You ain't gonna get nothing
EA
from nobody else unless it's somebody that's really got some bread and enough to put up their own, to make their own thing.
You know who hasn't stepped into the gaming market for real? There's been rumors of them doing it at different points.
Tesla.
But based on what they've done with TV and streaming, Apple TV has a fair amount of like really good streaming shows. Like they clearly, in the Steve Jobs era, I would say, because that's where Pixar was born. Like they know how to be creative and tell a story. Now, do I necessarily think that the current Apple leadership? No, I think that they have become every bit a commodity as every other tech agency, but
I wouldn't want that anyway.
No?
Because not at all.
But if they were bringing something unique to the table, you wouldn't want that?
Fuck no. You started with phones, then you moved on to fucking...
They started with computers, but...
Well, you know what I mean. You moved on. You started with your little computer and laptop. You moved on to phones and tablets. Now you're doing streaming services. If we get into game development, then you can rest assured you'll see Netflix and Hulu with game developing platforms as well. And you won't see any Ubisoft or nothing like that anymore. They'll purchase all of them and they'll just be under Hulu, Netflix, and Apple, and you'll have to have a subscription account just to play a fucking video game.
I mean, honestly, most of the games I play are from my subscription account to Xbox Game Pass. So,
see, that's what I'm saying right now. Oh, that's just a test.
But they actually do.
Can we?
But they actually do a fair amount of. They bring in a fair amount of like indie games too, though. So,
the only thing, see the past currently, what that does is just gives you the opportunity to test out different games that you wouldn't normally test out.
Oh yeah, and then if something hits, then you can invest in it. And
right.
Make it a freaking franchise or a series or whatever.
I'm talking about subscriptions to games, like people were concerned there would be with GTA 6. If they're going to charge you a monthly fee just to have access to the game itself. That's where we'll be, not a per
which
subscription to
which
download
which
free ones that come about.
which
No,
honestly
buddy.
which honestly they do. Like you have to have an Xbox Live or a PlayStation Plus membership in order to play online.
Right, but that's not to the game. See, that's what you're
I
lacking to
hear you,
understand.
but most of those at this point are, well, GTA would not be because Rockstar hasn't been absorbed, but like Call of Duty, Microsoft owns that now. They own Acclaim, so they own Acclaim Activision. So like you are paying it directly to Microsoft all the way around now.
But I think you're missing the point, though, right? Like we can purchase the game now. I don't care who has the account, right? I don't care if Microsoft gets some money on the back end because it's all coming
You're
through
talking about
Xbox.
ongoing like a
Your game
World
is
of
locked. You didn't pay your $9.99 this month.
I mean, but that started with World of Warcraft way back when.
Well, see, I don't know anything about that. I've never known a game that's done that.
Oh, that's funny because you vouched for World of Warcraft as being the best game ever based on our
Who
list
did?
of top video game franchises.
No, I
fucking
didn't.
yes, you did, motherfucker. You argued.
No, I
with
didn't.
me
I just
for-
argued that Mario wasn't. I've never even fucking played.
I
World
know
of
you've
Warcraft.
never played. That was my point in the fucking conversation. You
The
dick.
fuck, I don't know nothing about no World of Warcraft. The fuck, so if they
You
got
son
the
of a
little
bitch.
VPN sales with that back in the day, but that was also PC before there was that big of development culture.
Yeah, that's fair.
The development culture came out with like the PlayStation 3, Xbox One, when people like they were like, oh, kids are nerdy enough that they're looking up to see who actually developed the game. Well, let's start pushing to let them know who the developers are that put out their favorite games. That wasn't a thing before. Before it was just, oh, World of Warcraft was its own entity.
Right,
It's doing it itself on the PC.
right. And you didn't know who Blizzard was at that point.
Right, right.
No, I get that.
So they could get away with shit like that. But now that you're offering it on a platform like PlayStation or Xbox, they're going to be like, charge per month for this weekend? No, we don't want it then.
Right.
We don't want it. We're not going to pay for it to put it on would license it. If you want to charge them, it's not even good enough to do that. If they're going to start introducing that to the world, they're going to have to do it with one of the biggest games ever, like a GTA.
Yeah, but I don't know. I go back and forth because would you prefer having to pay to access the game on an ongoing basis or the continuous pay to win in terms of microtransactions?
I mean, it's I don't know. It's not similar, right? It's not the same.
But it's different avenues to get to the same end goal, which is give me the money.
But you don't necessarily have to fall for any of that. The microtransactions.
When they are cosmetic and they don't change the gameplay, I agree with you.
Well, no, and a lot of times they do, like, because 2K has a big transactional,
right? And you can buy you can buy that currency to upgrade your player, can't you?
Right. But that I feel like, but see, you can buy that currency, but still in the game, you have to rank your player up.
Okay.
You can buy $500 worth of currency, but unless you rank your player up by playing, winning, doing things, you can't spend it on the player.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I got you.
Like you can just buy clothes and little bullshit, animations and stuff. But as far as like really making you that much better, you can have a guy that doesn't put $1 on the game that has a better player than anybody else on the game. It's just going to take you longer to get to that point. Because you got to stick around and play it out, as opposed to them buying it out.
Pay to play.
Now, the moment it becomes fuck pay to play, you gotta
pay to win.
Literally pay to play.
Yeah.
You gotta give us $59.99 at release to have access to the game, and then $9.99 charge every month just to get in it to be able to access your players. At that point, what you think I'm playing it all.
Yeah.
Listen, this was a hobby, you know what I'm saying? But once we get into hobbies costing additional money, that's when hobbies no longer become hobbies.
I beg to disagree. All of my hobbies have cost me significant amounts of money.
But that's
This,
because
D and
you have
D,
different hobbies.
coaching.
You have different hobbies, and none of that really, aside from coaching, as far as your
Is
transportation,
required.
yeah, none of that has to cost you money.
No, I get it. But I don't know, man. We talked about firearms on the last show. That's another expensive hobby.
That is an expensive hobby, and that's funny that you say that because I was just thinking about going to the range this weekend, and I was thinking how much I was going to be spending if I did that, and how long I wanted to be there, and just like if you're just a one gun owner and just say that you own something common that everybody damn near owns, like a 9mm, you can get a box of bullets. You can get a 50 round box of bullets for like $15.
Okay.
So if you get two boxes of bullets, that's 100 rounds, that's $30. And then you could probably go through that amount of ammo in a half an hour.
Yeah.
You still got to pay your lane costs, which is going to be anywhere from 12 to $20, depending on how long you want to be there.
So you're
You
looking at
got to buy
probably
your targets.
yeah. So you're looking at $100.
Yeah, about $100 every time you want to go to the range.
Yeah.
And that's expensive when you think about it. But people also aren't going to the range daily unless you live somewhere where you have land and you're not paying all that anyway. You're just paying for ammo.
Right. That makes sense. So earlier in this conversation, you brought up reels and how reel culture has kind of disintegrated the storytelling element. I'm going to use that as a slick transition.
Transition it.
Over to the TikTok ban, which was upheld by the Supreme Court.
I forgot that was on the docket.
Today or yesterday. However, the Biden administration has said they're not going to enforce it. And there's a lot of indication from...
Bitch, weren't y'all the ones bringing it up?
Yeah, no shit.
Weren't you the ones bringing up the ban?
On top of the fact that Trump has said that he would step in and not enforce the ban either. Now, I find that a little bit harder to believe since he's in bed with all the tech bros. And I think that the tech industry is really who's driving this TikTok must sell so that either Meta, Google, Apple, whoever else is out there can purchase TikTok is really what they're trying to force is a sale to one of the other conglomerates. So we've got that. And then, as you know, salty Americans are wont to do, a real Chinese-owned app, Red Note, saw a spike of 750,000 people
for real
register for an app that is approved by the Communist Party of China. You had to, so I downloaded the app. I did not sign up yet.
I don't fucking get it though. But, like I get it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean because all the terms and conditions are in Chinese. So like, not that anybody reads the T's and C's anyways, but I think it's fucking hilarious that they stopped this because they were worried about China influencing Americans, and then Americans said, fuck you, we're going over to this Chinese-owned app, and apparently it has been a beautiful clash of cultures, and cultures coming together with the Chinese and Americans all making each other feel welcome on Red Note. So, any initial thoughts on just the American populace's ability to go, fuck you, Uncle Sam?
I don't think that's what it is. I don't think that they have enough of that in them yet.
Not yet, but I mean, you know, baby steps.
This is for real. It's just it's your fault. It's your fault. It's capitalism's fault.
I agree with that.
It's no different than you selling farmland to the Chinese on American soil. If China can do it better, we're going to China. The same way you think about it with your business is the same way we think about it with our social. We don't give a fuck if they have this information.
Right.
China's been learning how to dance from American culture for years. You hear what I'm saying?
Well, and
They were like,
honestly,
we gotta put down this dragon head parade shit and start doing these TikTok dances if we want to be seen around the world.
well, and on top of that, China and Russia have been executing disinformation campaigns against the American citizens for decades.
Right, and
Even
you don't have
before
to go
social
online
media.
to see them.
Right.
You don't have to go online to see them. So I don't know why all of a sudden this is a big deal.
Well, the reason it's a big deal is that of those 750,000 people, and I think TikTok is like 1 point. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up, but I want to say it's like millions of Americans use TikTok, and
Right.
of those, a good portion of them make money through TikTok, whether
Right,
it's through
right.
being an influencer and views and ad revenue through views, or from being an influencer in terms of directing people to shop, right? And
Right.
the shop makes a shit ton of money, and so a lot of people are earning serious commissions off of this. And so you're taking away, I think, I want to say the number's like 750 million people's like potential opportunity to make money on
Right.
that app. And on top of that, not to mention the government doesn't like it because Americans are talking to each other and praising things like Luigi Mangione, praising things like taking civil action against the government, praising things like strikes, Amazon strikes that are happening right now. So
They're going to do that on any platform, though.
right. No, I agree. But the thing is, TikTok, because of the way the algorithm works, has brought a lot of those kinds of thoughts and communities together. And they are trying to disrupt our ability to do that. And so for anybody that's in doubt that, our quote unquote democracy has already been taken over, it has. Like, it already has. We're in an old. Fucking Biden said it in his exit speech. America is in danger of becoming an oligarchy. Like, nah, motherfucker, we already are. You have proven that to us.
I mean,
And so I think this is just a symptom of that bigger issue. And again, I kind of lean, I'm not usually the one that is like, free speech, free speech, free speech. Free speech, motherfucker. You can't take away, like, taking away the channel is the same as taking away the channel or the delivery mechanism for that free speech is the same as censoring that speech. It is.
I don't know if it is, though.
It is.
And very rarely do I argue for that side, but you can talk all the shit you want to talk about us, but you're not going to do it on my phone line. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I pay for this line here. You're not going to talk shit about me over the line that I'm paying for.
Except for all of that is privately owned. Those are private companies.
Yeah,
dude.
I know it's like an opposite deal with this situation, but it's all the same, right? Like, if I'm providing you the platform,
But you're not. That's the whole thing. Like, that's the counter argument. You're not. You didn't create this. And on top of that, you are squashing what is supposed to be an ideal of capitalism, which is the best app wins. And guess what? Right now, and for the last 5 to 10 years, TikTok has been the best app.
Yeah, you're not, but you are, because it's not being built and run by you, but
No, it was built by China.
right, that's what I'm saying. We know that. We've known that since it came out. We've known that. And we've always known that there was a potential they were going to do this even before we saw what was coming through our reels.
Well, and let's be clear. As we talk on our Chinese-made devices, in our Chinese-made clothes, like, they already have us. What's the fucking point? No, the point is to squash the free speech element of it, which is funny that they are saying it's to keep China out of it because we don't like the way China is censoring their people in XYZ. Meanwhile, y'all motherfuckers are doing the exact same thing because guess what? You similarly are in a situation where if the people were to be able to organize, There ain't shit you could do about it. And
Nah,
so
the
you
biggest
take away
issue-
one of those biggest ways that people are organizing right now.
The biggest issue is that they want to know where the rock came from. I don't think they give a fuck who owns it or whatever the case may be.
No.
But if it's owned by an enemy, we can't see where the rock's coming from.
Yeah.
You guys have been talking about, like, they're probably thinking in their heads, like, you motherfuckers have been having it out for CEOs for a while now on TikTok. And you just now made that, you just now
made
threw
it
that
happen.
rock. We would have owned the app. We would have seen the rock coming from a mile away, and we wouldn't have ever got hit by it. But since China has a curtain in front of your hand right now,
But that's
we
the
can't
thing.
tell where the rock's coming from. They know that this is all crumbling to the ground, right?
But what's
They
funny
need
is
all the transcripts.
What's funny though is that the TikTok servers are US based. It's a US based company that has parent ownership from ByteDance, which is a Chinese company. So like,
Do they have access to everything though?
I'm sure they do. But that's
don't
not
know.
to
I don't
say
know if
that
I
the
believe
US
that.
that's not to say that the US couldn't have access to it. It's a US based company. They just don't like the fact that who's making the money off of that company is in China.
But we don't know what they put into programming.
Yeah, but guess what? We don't know what they put into programming. And we all walk around with fucking cell phones.
But that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt us though, right?
Right, but that's
China. Listen, let's be clear here. China, if anything, wants us throwing rocks.
Oh, no doubt.
They know
wanna
it's the fall of the
destabilize-
great United States, so they want us throwing rocks.
Well, you
it's,
see,
it's
all
almost
the-
like it's almost like a situation like to for me in my mind, like to sum it up. It's almost like a situation where everybody has their location turned on your phone, but your parents don't have that.
Right.
Your neighbors, your location's on your neighbor's phone.
Yeah.
So now you get to go out and do all the crazy things that teens can do that your parents been trying to stop you from, and your parents have no idea where you're going, who you're getting it from, how you're getting access to it, because your location's on their phone, not our phone.
Right.
So United States is like, wait a second here. These are our kids. We need their locations.
Yeah.
Not China. We need their locations.
China.
So they're doing all this bullshit. But I mean, it makes sense from a government standpoint. Like when you operate like a monster, right? You know that people will only cooperate until they finally lose fear of the monster.
Yeah.
And we're getting to the point where
You're
the
at that
monster's
tipping
not
point.
as scary as it once was. So they're like, oh shit, we're not that monster to them anymore. We need all of the control. So if they turn on the monster, we can see it coming.
Yeah.
We've been turning on the monster. It's just been going slowly, bit by bit. But with things like the Mangione and all that shit happening, that's where people, that kind of inspires people a bit to stop going bit by bit and take chunk by chunk. And they don't like that. They don't like that there could be some sort of conversation going on a platform that they may not have the most access to. I can tell you why the United States don't have access to it, because if they did have 100% access, they wouldn't be making a big deal out of it.
No, I hear you on that.
They wouldn't give a fuck. We have access. We don't care. No, they're upset because even though the servers are here, they're like, God damn, Chinese got more blocks on this shit than porn.
Yeah.
In a library.
Never stopped you before.
I was never born in the library. I did set somebody up. I did set somebody up. But that was for my entertainment, not my consumption. That's probably what put porn blocks in the library.
That's probably what started it. You can thank Cliff for that.
Oh shit, I used to do that all the time too. I would go to a site and I would turn the speakers all the way up and I would minimize it. So as soon as whoever clicked on the minimum, it would pop up and be blaring through the library and just sit and watch from afar. You gotta have fun when your mom doesn't pick you up. Pick you ready. Gotta have fun for them 3.5 hours.
Oh man, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said you want to see where the rocks are coming from, and they feel like they're losing control and losing power, and they don't have a way.
They want their own child's location.
Well, and they don't have a way to control the narrative. Well, and how we're not afraid of them. There might be something coming up that is specifically designed to make us afraid again. And what I'm talking about there is Ross Coulthart, who is one of the big names in the UAP game, has an interview on Monday or Tuesday that he is dropping with another pilot, who is going to talk about the fact that he was part of the crash retrieval program. And so another big whistleblower coming out, and there is lots of stuff going around the UAP circle right now talking about full disclosure, meaning extraterrestrials, aliens, UFOs, UAPs is coming in 3 to 5 days. And I'm intrigued because that happens to line up with when Trump comes into office. And Trump flat out said about all the issue with the drones in New Jersey, which nobody's fucking talking about anymore. He said the government knows what it is and they should just tell us. So is Trump going to do everybody a solid and be the one that brings it to the table because he got 0 fucks left to give and he's got this last run and, you know, he's just going to make the biggest impact he can? Because that would be a hell of a way to start off his presidency. Yes, there's aliens. We've known about them. We got their ships. They're huge. Greatest ships.
If anything is going on in New Jersey, Trump knows about it, all right? That's all I'm saying. Trump knows what's going on if it's happening over New Jersey.
That's funny.
The fuck? That's all I got to say about it.
But
I didn't know that people still cared. I think that that's just grasps at, you know, trying to get people's attention.
Well,
you know,
and that's
the more you think about UAPs and this whole
you're not paying attention to the bigger picture,
right? Or you're not killing a CEO, or you're not, you know, like I think you're just using us at this point. Like if you wanted to say something, fucking say it. Well, but I'm not about to stick around for the soap opera or the great reveal that you guys have planned for it.
What's interesting on that front is that the Speaker of the House basically fired the dude from the UAP caucus that was leading it, which was Mike Johnson, our friend out of Dayton, Ohio, and he is no longer part of that membership, and so he was the biggest blocker to the conversation on the Chuck Schumer bill, which was in full support of disclosure. So from that standpoint, There have been some moves lately that seem to be opening the door, but to your point, yes, do I think that it could be a psyop and is designed to distract? Absolutely. And I think the way that becomes reality is if, you know, they institute Project Bluebeam. But I don't think outside of that, like, it is still a very niche thing. Like, I don't think that it's taken the whole U.S. by storm. I do think it's talked about more widely now than it ever has been. But yeah, I agree. I also don't think that it's I don't know. That the common man knows or cares.
Right, because even if you do say, yeah, aliens are real, they're out there, you're not going to tell us the truth. You're not going to tell us that you've had contact with them, that you're working with them, that you know, you're not going to tell us anything like that. You're just going to tell us that they're out there. So then we're going to have another 10 to 20 year time frame where you don't see any of them.
Yeah.
So they're real, but they're just hiding behind cloaks and shit. Well, like we don't know who they are.
Interestingly enough, also happening in the next couple of days, and this one's for certain. The planets are aligning, sir.
Is Nibiru coming back to the motherfucking?
That's my philosophy. They said it. They said a planet entered our solar system. Could be Planet X. Could be Nibiru making its way back around. And guess what that means? It means we are due for another calamity here on planet Earth. another extinction level event for humanity that will cover the gaps that we had since the last one, where there's a big gap in our history from 250,000 years ago to 10,000 years ago.
They've been talking about that on all the reels and shit.
All the planets aligning.
No, not the planets aligning. That they believe that history was like they added years in that didn't count with fake history.
Well, I don't even think that. I think they removed years from history. I think that our documented history only goes back to what, 3,000 years, 4,000 years. I think there were entire civilizations that were buried, and like that. Well, goes
yeah,
back
no, I mean, I believe that, but I don't think that that's a. I don't think that all of that is a matter of people trying to destroy truth so much as I'm sure they didn't listen. We put shit on paper and in a cloud. Yeah. Do you not think that when our extinction level event comes, that the people that come after us are going to be able to access any of the information in that cloud?
Probably not.
They're going to have to start all over again and explain history from their interpretation of what happened prior to them and then start forth. All I'm saying is we've always had issues with what we documented on.
Yeah.
Paper goes up in flame. Rock eventually crumbles. It doesn't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like it eventually goes to shit. That's why the what is it? The dude, your boy, Billy Carson, always talking about the shits. You know what I'm talking about? The monoliths that have the stories carved in them from thousands of years ago that they're surprised stood the test of time.
The
Sumerian
know what I'm saying? Tablets and stuff like that.
Those situations are few and far between. That might even be why the Egyptians chose to do their hieroglyphs inside.
Yeah.
So the weather can't erode this information that I'm trying to pass down to the other generation.
That and sewn and stand which can't be like destroyed by fire either.
Right. See, like shit like that. That was the closest, that generation was the closest to getting it right? Because you can leave something that can't be destroyed by everyone else. I'm giving you a piece of, our history. The same way you're doing your little book with your son. Yeah. That's what their book was, right? But they did it on a surface that would last thousands of years, fires, floods, lightning, hurricane, you know what I'm saying? But us, for some reason, and I'm sure it's the powers that be, we're like, nah, just do it on this paper.
Well, that and they
forget the sandstone, do it on this paper because it's easier to carry with you. And by the time you die, it's just a group of fucking black coat, pale face figures that scratch up all your books and papers and throw them in a fire. So it's like, well, that never took place, did it?
Well, now, and to your point, now they're doing it digitally so that they can edit it anytime they want.
Right. That's what all that. So I don't think it's so much of people like nefariously going back to erase history so much as there was one person who didn't want the truth of history to continue on that said, switch the paper.
Right.
Switch the paper. Just put it off the paper.
Hey, look over there, guys.
Right. Or look over there, guys. It's through a lit match. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like.
I mean, you saw that with the burning of the library at Alexandria.
Right. And that's why I think whoever said switch the paper was the generation before the burning of the library of Alexandria.
Yeah. Oh, you think it was that? Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? Like the person before them was like, we need them. We can't stop the stories that are being told. That's why we'll create fiction. That's why we'll create entertainment so we can muddy the water so you don't know the truth from what we've made up. And then we'll also have them switch from things that really last forever to things that can be made easily and destroyed easily. Because you got to think, if something lasts forever like sandstone,
yeah,
you're not wasting your fucking sandstone block on a poem.
Right.
No, you're putting in some shit that needs to be said that the people after me have to understand to continue on the way they should be living.
Yeah, I can see that.
But once you give them paper and you can crumble it up and throw it away, you don't value it as much, you can put anything down on that, you know? I'll make a journal.
Book of Rhymes.
Right. I'll make a whole fucking album off a quarter of a tree. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then you don't even need the little nefarious pale guys with the black suits coming because you lose half of the shit that you wrote. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You go back to a notebook from back in the day and the pages is all yellow and you can damn near see through them and the words start to fade off of them. And it's like, who would suggest this?
Yeah.
If you didn't want it gone.
That's fair. I also think that there are technological solutions that can protect things like that from fire too,
but why would you have to? You know what I mean? Like why in order for me to go through the same links that they went through to pass down pertinent information, do I then have to get a room that stays a certain temperature, that doesn't have necessary humidity, and like that's too much. Why would you go through all that when you could just find the block that can't nobody destroy?
Well, if to your point, if that's no longer the method.
Right. And it's funny how we still got hella fucking desert and no fucking sandstone, huh? Yeah, everybody talking about 1949 and 1976, talking about gold. Where's the sandstone at?
Right.
We thinking that gold's the most value. Where's the sandstone? It's enough sand and enough pressure that there should be stone somewhere.
Well, that's because they had the ability to cut it from wherever they wanted. I mean, Cliff, we saw plenty of stone when we did Thunder Rocks at the Allegheny State Park.
Right. Some of that stone you could chip away and you'd never know what was written on it.
Absolutely.
That's not the right stone. And then you got to think beyond that as well. Think of what a tree has to go through to be prepared to be written on.
Yeah.
So you switch to something that has more of a process to make, less of a process to destroy.
Right.
Why? It doesn't make sense. Why are we using paper?
Because it's easy.
You know, I just don't get it. Like, why are we using paper?
To your point, the reason we use it is because it's easy and because it's something that doesn't require, hours upon hours, countless hours of, both the planning and the actual execution of it. Carving something into stone ain't easy, bruh.
No, I agree. And that's the same thing that these little bastards are going to be saying about writing a letter.
Oh yeah, no, it's all going to be digital and yeah.
Right. That's just the way shit goes. It goes on from that, but there's people that practice calligraphy.
Well, and to your point, and then when you have the extinction level event, there's nothing left to review. And that's assuming that the language that you're speaking even survives, or the language you're writing and reading in even survives.
But I'm sure that even still, you could figure.
I don't know, man. English is a pretty fucking complicated language,
and I think that that's on purpose as well.
Well, it's because they've hidden the meanings of words, and yeah. But that's also, I think natural evolution. Also.
But we know that there's code breakers.
Yeah.
And that's not like, you're not like a supernatural to be a code. No, there's code breakers around here. Everybody has a little code break in them.
Yeah.
Everybody can identify what does not belong. Those little tricks that the games that they used to play when you was kids and shit like that. We're all built to see something that shouldn't be there.
I think that's fair. I think that makes sense.
So eventually, I would imagine that even though it's in a language, it all derives from somewhere.
Yeah.
And keep it a buck, it's Latin.
A lot of it.
So with that information alone, I feel like you could code break your way into, a document that you needed to translate into your new language, whatever it may be.
Well, if you believe that we're in the Firefly timeline, then it's a combination of English and Mandarin. which
English and Mandarin.
in which case, this whole Red Note thing, that's the big joke that's running through social media right
Oh,
now.
I get it.
Is
the connection of the two is gonna forge the new next.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep,
okay.
exactly.
I get it. English and Mandarin.
Yep.
They would think somebody was swallowing their tongue. Like, is he having a seizure? Oh, he was talking? What was he saying to us? What did he try to say? That shit would sound crazy. It sounds like somebody, no.
You take away Americans' ability to make money, the first thing they want to do is go on to a Chinese app and learn Chinese. So,
I mean, is there benefit to that?
I mean, when they take
should I be studying my Mandarin? Like, help me out.
I mean, we all should be. Oh, shit. All right. Well, those are two of the three. Last one was the LA fires. What do you want to talk about with the LA fires? First of all, it has been a significant event. Even the company I work for is dealing with it on multiple levels. We're lucky that everyone is safe, but that being said, you know,
how are they dealing with it? Like, people live there, or there's people, headquarters? Okay, no, okay.
Because we're nationwide, so
right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
But
God bless them.
Yeah, I think that it's been interesting because even the podcast that I listen to with Kristian Harloff and all them, like, he moved to New York like 6 months ago, but everybody else who's on the show is based in LA.
For real?
Yeah, so they've been.
So he been doing shows by himself for the past couple of weeks?
I mean, he has had people that have like dropped out because they're dealing with like direct impacts and those kind of things. So it's, you know, seeing it from that perspective, I think is giving me a little bit different in terms of it's not just, you know, out there on the West Coast. It's like something that I pay attention to, and folks that, you know, I've virtually gotten to know through their content and all that. But like, so. What was it that, you know, you had brought that up as a potential discussion topic? What was it you wanted to talk about on it?
I mean, first and foremost, you know, definitely extend blessings to those people for sure.
Absolutely.
And I've been hearing a whole bunch of people talk about it. I don't know how I truly feel about it. So, okay, so I guess what I'm saying is I don't know how I want to come at the situation.
Okay. I mean, what's interesting is there's a lot of rumor that this was started intentionally with arson, and like it was a group of people that started this.
Yeah, I heard the same. I mean, they caught
somebody.
A bunch of comedians doing bits about bums with gas cans.
Right. Pouring them in the sewers and lighting them up.
You ignored the bums with the gas cans all these years, thinking it was just normal. But my whole thing, well, I heard deeper, you know, like, and that would track, right? I heard deeper that this is not only a land grab, but it is a simultaneous land grab as well as a way to cover up like the deeper pedophilia ring evidence.
All right. I think
regardless there was something to burn there.
I think if you were just, I don't know, that seems ultra wide scale to cover up something, but I mean,
well,
honestly, I think it would be more dangerous to do something that massive to cover something like that up, because you don't know who's going to go in to do the cleanup effort.
Right. No, you're correct. But see, here's the thing, though, right? Because if you start piecing pages together, maybe back about 5 years,
yeah,
motherfuckers have been setting something up for a while now. You know, like, you knew even when COVID happened, you had insurance companies backing out and taking insurance away from everybody.
That right there is the shit that I'm like, This is why we need the Luigis of the world. Insurance
Well, no,
companies are
definitely,
denying
definitely.
claims and like firing customers during this event. Like,
Now, here's
nah,
my thing, though,
motherfucker.
right? If we know that there is something to cover up here, we can talk as much as we want about the potentials of natural disaster, quote unquote natural disaster, right?
You know
We
what's
know since
interesting?
we were children, since we were in elementary school, they've been talking about California is going to be flooded, it's going to break away from the rest of the country, it's going to float out into the middle of the ocean. They've been saying that for years. And then now all of a sudden it's the perfect, in the past 10, 15 years, it's the perfect, everything is perfectly set up for all these wildfires to take place.
Yeah.
Everything is perfectly set up. Now, I'm not saying that that's not the case, right? I'm just saying that you may be gaslighting me for an event that you plan on making happen,
No,
right? Because
I think that's fair, and honestly, that goes back to your boy Rogan. Like,
about what?
there's video of him on a show or an episode, I don't know when, but basically saying like the only thing that has kept LA from burning this far is that we have gotten lucky with like wind patterns, and that if the right wind conditions hit, LA would be wiped out by a wildfire, and
Yeah, no,
that's
and
what
I
we're
don't
seeing.
doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. But I
Further
also
proof
find
that
it
Joe
odd.
Rogan is a psyop.
I just find it odd that they've been talking about it for years. The water never came. Motherfuckers got out real quick, right?
Yeah.
As far as insurance and, everything like that. And then we have shit like this happen. And I don't see it happening in Arizona or Washington or
Because they don't have
like,
the
you mean to tell me,
forestry.
you said what?
They don't have the forestry. It's the woods that burn that start it.
I guess Arizona wouldn't. There's some places that have similar.
No, I agree. But
That's what I'm getting at. Is that California is not the only place out there set up like that.
But we've also seen wildfires in plenty of other places over the last 10 years.
Yeah, no, you definitely have, but not at the rate of California.
Yeah.
Not at the rate of California. Like, you ask somebody.
I mean, Maui might disagree with you, but okay.
Well, Maui, we all know what everybody thinking about that. I mean, when was the last Maui fire?
Colorado, like last year.
The last one prior to
that, I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about there. That's what I'm getting at. See, when you have,
but California as a whole, Colorado, and I think even Washington, and I'd need somebody to confirm that, but have all seen like massive wildfires over the last couple of years. So it's not like
right. That's what I was about to say. You ask somebody, you asked the right person on the street, and they said that the last wildfire never went out for this one to take up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I guess that's what I'm getting at, right? Is when you feed the beast being us, that something is going to take place. Something is going to take place here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then magically it does. Like, let's put it like this. We know that California has had issues with wildfires in the past, right? We know that people have lost their homes in the past, right? We know that, again, not to beat a dead horse, but recently insurance companies pulled out of that area. I would imagine, right? Even the people, the rich ones that lived out there, that if they thought that it was that prevalent, like how Joe Rogan and all them are explaining, they would have got the fuck out of there long before the threat of a fire, for the simple fact that my premiums are going up like crazy now, right? Because nobody wants to cover my house. My house is already $7 to $15 million. And then you're telling me that something as much as a hot breath, somebody waking up out of the morning can start a fire in my area that could potentially cause me to lose everything, and you still choose to stay?
I think there's fair point in that.
That
But
means one of the two parties are lying, and I would imagine the people with the most to lose, meaning my house and all that, like that's very inconvenient for you to lose home insurance in an area like that. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So for you to be like, you know what? I don't care that I don't have home insurance. This is where I live. I don't think it's as serious as they say. After you watch the wildfires in the past.
I mean, you're aware of Florida, right?
Yeah, no,
the
actually,
damage that like
I was
hurricanes
about
do.
to compare it to
That's exactly
Florida.
what it is.
I was about to compare it to Florida, but the difference is Florida knows who
Florida is. They are who we thought they were.
that works actually, but okay, so Florida knows where those deep impact places are as far as hurricanes and all that. They know if you're in the hot zone, is what I'm getting at, right? Now, deep in there, they're like, it's them that are crazy. Florida is like, why do we keep getting the bad rap? And it's them right there. It's them. Those are they're
just
every
as
Florida
bad.
Man. They're
They're just as bad.
Picture you see,
them
that's
in them in Tornado Alley, like those three areas of the country. Like maybe people shouldn't live in those parts.
Well,
I hear
though,
Wyoming's nice.
Here's the thing. There's a lot that would keep someone in an area like that. Florida actually makes a lot more sense to me than any other place that we've named, for the simple fact that on all of those coastal areas always...
You understand California's a coast, right? Like the entire state.
Right. I completely get that. But California has nothing but Hollywood, really. Hollywood and Silicon Valley have essentially taken over.
And Silicon Valley's safe because that's Northern California.
Well, I'm saying in general, I'm just saying like California. Okay, so California is like a NASCAR car, where it's like, you covered me from head to toe in sponsorship.
Yeah.
That's the reason for me to come out to California, is so I can potentially get a sponsor and become a NASCAR car.
Yeah.
Where Florida is more like mud trucks and ATVs.
Right.
We're not putting sponsorship on our cars. It's going to get covered in mud anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You come to Florida because you just want to have fun. I want drugs in Miami. I want beautiful women in Miami. I like the nightlife. I like the beaches. I like women in bikinis and being able to walk around in my Speedo all day. Things like that are what pull you to Florida. Where it's like, if you're looking at California, unless you're looking for a potential sponsor,
it's clout chasing.
Why am I going? What am I going there for?
It's clout chasing.
Right. You're going there for a money move.
Yeah. I'm
going there to potentially blow up, to be a movie star and fail and then fall into the porn industry. I'm going for a reason. You know, there's a reason you're going to California other than I want my toes in the sand.
Yeah.
Florida, they just want their toes in the sand. And why? Because I think they do a good job marketing themselves to be crazy, so people stay away. Right. Where California is actually crazy. Like, actually crazy. Like, I bet there's so much going on in California that people don't know about.
Oh, no doubt. Well, it's also a massive state.
So all I'm saying is, you let something like that build up and run wild for enough decades, I'm pretty sure it's a few people that want to light a match.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's enough buried evidence that people are like, I've been wanting to destroy this for years now. Getting anxiety about it. Might be time to start a forest fire.
Yeah. Yeah. It's possible.
And then the whole Diddy situation went down, and we talked about that. The nigga might be smarter than we think. He might have a lot more information than we think. So if there's going to be people that are going to be coming from hell and high water into our area to comb through it with a fine tooth, I need to make sure this evidence is gone before they really start getting into trial.
Possible.
Because one thing we do know is where there's smoke, there's fire.
Diddy's paying
if there's fire, you'll find it in LA.
Diddy's paying bums in LA to start setting fires to cover evidence.
That could always be the contingency plan. That could have always been the contingency plan. Look at how he did Black Rob. Black Rob was a bum before his untimely demise. You hear what I'm saying? You were strategically putting people in places. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, Black Rob, we need him in LA right now. We need him on the corner of Skid Row and Figueroa. And if shit goes down, he better take a gas can and a match to that whole
I would like to remind everyone that this is all for entertainment purposes only.
We might as well change the name for entertainment purposes only. So
there you go. I like it.
Just put ... under Dufo's agreement for entertainment purposes only. Because I'm not gonna stop.
Goodness gracious.
I can't stop. I can't stop, won't stop.
All right, Diddy.
I ain't dealing with none of that. Listen, I ain't in LA, baby. I'm far from it.
Yeah, it's,
I don't, something is afoot here. I feel like there's more going on than just a wildfire.
I don't know that I agree with that, but all right.
I mean, it would have to be, right? If they got reports of people being seen causing fires.
Well, no doubt. And maybe this is another act of civil disobedience.
But why?
Because it's the home of the elite. And if you don't got anything to lose because you've been lost your insurance, lost your job, lost your X, lost your Y, lost your Z, targeting a group of elites that live in LA, I don't know that I would disagree.
I mean, they weren't all elites, though.
No, I agree, and I think there is but at that point, if you're going,
to a displaced individual,
from somebody who has repeatedly said, "Burn it all down," that seems like a start.
Nah, what this is all those displaced individuals that they shipped and gave plane tickets to and sent over to all those other states finally made it back home, and they was like, bitch, you ain't tell me they ain't have nothing for us either. Set this motherfucker on fire. They been playing with us. They sent us somewhere colder that doesn't have nothing for us either. Set it on fire. And then they gonna take the immigrants and give them hotels and checks every month. It was like, yeah, set it on fire. We done here. That's what y'all did. Y'all tried to get rid of all them homeless. You gave them free residency on everybody's corners and sidewalks and stoops and everything like that. And then you just chose to kick them out. You was even delivering mail to the front of their tents, trying to make them feel welcome and a part of the community. And then one day you just said, we got to ship these motherfuckers up to Newark. And now y'all wondering what the fuck's going on in New Jersey. Do you see how everything goes full fucking circle with you bitches?
You are a fool.
Yeah, bro. See the title.
Oh, man. All right. You got anything else?
No, I think I wrapped that up there.
that was pretty solid.
I think that's pretty much wrapped in a bow.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, with that being the case,
it's a case now. See, and then here comes the fires. You start using words like that, I start bringing my bums with gas cans and matches out because we're not. It could have just been. It didn't have to be the case.
It didn't have to be a case. Take us out, sir. What do you got?
Love everybody. I've said enough. Let me not get myself in no kind of trouble. Love everybody. And do your likes, shares, and shit.
Do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell them to troll. And with all that, peace out, fools.